Assalamualaikum and hello everyone. Welcome to my class. I am Madam Yusnaliza. Today we are going to discuss question August 2019, question 2 from the midterm common test. And question 2 is on the topic Malaysian Conceptual Framework for Financial Reporting. So let's start. Question 2A. Okay, there is a statement here. In developing reporting standards, standard status generally take the normative approach. Thus, an accounting conceptual framework needs to be developed first to serve as the foundation. So it is developed to serve for the foundation and also for the formulation of reporting standards. Similarly, adopting the normative approach within the Malaysian scenario, the Malaysian Accounting Standards Board, which is the standard setter in Malaysia, issued a conceptual framework for financial reporting. So, conceptual framework for financial reporting in Malaysia is actually word for word the same as per the conceptual framework issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, right? And it is called the framework as the foundation for the manner in which financial statements should be prepared. So it is going to prescribe the foundation, the way the financial statement should be prepared, and also how that would be reported, right, in the form of financial reporting. You are asked to briefly describe what is an accounting conceptual framework. So this is a direct question which asks you what you understand, but you cannot simply write what you like. What you need to do is to give a brief description of what is an accounting conceptual framework. What is an accounting conceptual framework? Within the context of the conceptual framework for financial reporting. So we're going to discuss the accounting conceptual framework. So what is it? If you can still recall, it's about a structured system. It's a system of interrelated objectives. So in the conceptual framework, it talks about what are the objectives of financial reporting, for example. And then fundamental characteristics. So in the conceptual framework, you know there are two fundamental characteristics and also concepts. The concepts of going concern, which is the underlying assumption. Okay, such a system of interrelated objective, fundamental characteristics and concept, which leads to the development of high quality and consistent reporting standard. Remember, the conceptual framework is the foundation that will set how consistent reporting standard or how high quality reporting standard would have been developed. And it is also to prescribe the nature, what is the nature, the function and limits of not only financial accounting but also financial reporting. It's not just about the financial accounting, not about reporting what you have accounted for. It's both, right? Okay, that's it for the first one. That was actually for 4 marks. So you need to have all those points, right, in the description of the accounting framework. Then you are asked to explain the objective of financial reporting. What are the objective of financial reporting? Not the objective of financial statement, but in a wider perspective, the financial reporting. So if you still recall, what we are preparing is a general purpose financial reporting. So the financial statement that we prepare is for general purpose use. So that is actually to provide financial information about the reporting entity. So there are a few points here. Number one, that the financial reporting aims or have the objective to provide financial information. It's about financial information. You can see here financial information. About what? About the reporting entity. Reporting entity. That information must be useful to existing and potential investor, lenders, and other creditors. Remember, existing and potential investor, lender, and other creditors are the users that are given primary focus in terms of the general purpose financial reporting. However, because it is general purpose financial reporting, it is also meant for other users. But this is not in the stated in the objective. But somehow government may have used the financial statement. Your uh, the users in terms of employees may be using the financial statement, but our focus are more on the existing and potential investors, lender, and other creditors. In making useful, it is useful for them to make decision about what? About providing resources to the entity. Yeah, about providing resources to the entity, providing um, whatever required by the entity. So they need to judge that based on the financial statement as one of the tools to decide. And then the framework had grouped the financial effects of transaction, the third part of the question, and other event, transaction and other event. This is being grouped into broad classes according to their economic characteristic in order to portray them, to portray or to show them in the financial statement. And these broad classes are termed as the elements of the financial statement. The elements of the financial statement. Elements of financial statement, if you can still recall in the lecture, it can be divided into two. Element of financial position and element of financial performance. So it is about the elements of financial statement. And you are asked to just list. When you are asked to just list, that is for you to just state. State means no explanation is needed. No description, no explanation required. Explain, list what? List what are the elements of this financial statement according to the categories. So when we say this, you need to put them under the element of financial position and also put them according to the element under financial performance. Okay, let's see the answer. The element of financial statement is divided into that main group, which is element of financial position. So you need to mention that, where first one is asset, L, liabilities, and equity. And remember, these are all in your statement of financial position. Equity is also in the statement of changes in equity. Income and expenses. This shows the performance of the company, the profitability of the company. And this is in the statement of profit or loss. So that is element of financial performance. Income and expenses. You don't have to explain, just state it. The last question is about Aisha. It's a scenario-based question. Aisha is the owner. So you have this girl named Aisha. She is the owner of the Playtime attire in Segamat, and Aisha manufacture and sell telekung for Muslim women. So they sell attire, telekung, yeah, for Muslim women. For women. This is what Aisha have this in terms of the sale. And then Aisha had bought several sewing machine and equipment. So to have this, what Aisha did was that Aisha bought machine, sewing machine. So this sewing machine and equipment is to be used in the business, and this one is their asset, or this is the PPE. Aisha had also bought fabric, yeah, bought sewing machine and also bought fabric. Okay, one is the sewing machine, another one is the fabric. This is what Aisha did in making the range of the telekung. So the fabric that you have bought will be that later turned into the finished good, and the finished good is telekung, right? So this one, yeah, we bought fabric and it will be manufactured, yeah, and this one will turn into the so-called finished good telekung. And this telekung is actually produced by the machine, right? Produced by the machine, right? Aisha knows that she has to classify this item into the correct elements of financial statement. However, she has no idea how to account for this purchase. She knows that she needs to classify the fabric, yeah, as raw material, yeah, because they are the input to process that into the telekung. So you need to process in the manufacturing process there, right? And that will become your finished product, right? So Aisha had attended a financial reporting talk that you have conducted. So you are the so-called trainer or the so-called expert, and you gave the talk, and in accordance with the MASB conceptual framework, you are to advise Aisha the correct elements of the financial statement that she need to, how she should classify the items. So remember, she has the so-called item, the fabrics, and the sewing machine. So this fabric and sewing machine. So those are the two items. They need to be classified accordingly. Fabrics are raw materials. The sewing machine are the tangible asset, PP. Let's see what you have. So to do that, you need to first see whether or not it meets the definition of asset. So Aisha needs to make sure that the definition of asset is being met. So give that advice. Sewing machine, one item. Equipment and fabrics. So those are fabrics are raw material, but equipment and sewing machine are the tangible item which is used to produce the telekung. They meet the element. If you say meet the element of asset, you cannot simply say meet, but you need to prove it by showing how it met the definition of asset itself. So go and discuss the first point about the economic resources control. So sewing machine, equipment and fabrics are present economic resources controlled by Aisha, the reporting entity, perhaps Aisha Berhad, right? So by Aisha herself, not under the control of other company. And these resources will be used at company's discretion to produce the telekung. Maybe the fabric can also be used to produce shawl. Maybe the sewing machine can also be used to produce the other garment as well. And the resources will be used according to the discretion of the company. But the company used their discretion to use the fabric and turn them into telekung using the sewing machine and other equipment. And therefore, the company has the right to use them in the manufacturing of telekung. So that one shows that having the economic resources is the right. So this is as a result of past event because Aisha bought the item. The item here refers to the sewing machine and equipment and also the fabric. These are what bought by Aisha. It was bought. It was not just a proposal, it was bought in the past. With that resources, which is fabrics that will be turned into telekom and sewing machine that will be used in the production, Aisha will have the potential to generate economic resources. Generate economic resources here, generate revenue. Revenue where? Revenue from the sale of the attire, telekom. Yeah, and the resources to produce more telekom will be able to produce more telekom using the sewing machine, using the fabric. So you cannot turn fabric into telekom perhaps without the sewing machine, and therefore that will generate more sales, and more sales, more cash inflow, because when you sell goods on cash basis, debit, cash, credit, sales, right? So increase in cash, more inflow, and generate more sales, credit sales. That means it is also generating more revenue. So in terms of financial performance, okay, that's it. There is no more, right? Thank you for watching. Catch me for my next video. Keep on practicing. The only way to get better each time is to keep on practicing. I'll see you and I will see you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.